I struck the board and cried, "No more! I will abroad." What? Shall I ever sigh and pine? My lines in life are free, free as the road, loose as the wind, as large as store. Shall I be in suit? Have I no harvest but a thorn, to let me blood and not restore? What I have lost with cordial fruit? Sure there was wine, but before sighs did dry it, there was corn, before my tears did drown it. Is the year only lost to me? Have I no bays to crown it? No flowers, no garlands gay, all blasted, all wasted? No, not so, my heart, but there is fruit, and thou hast hands, recover all thy sigh-blown age, on double pleasures leave thy cold dispute. Of what is fit and not, forsake thy cage, thy rope of sands, with which petty thoughts have made, and made to thee good cable to enforce and draw, and be thy law. While thou didst wink, and wouldst not see, away take heed, I will abroad. Call in thy death's heed there, tie up thy fears. He that forbears to suit and serve his need deserves his load. But as I rave and grew more fierce and wild at every word, methought I heard one calling, "Child," and I replied, "My lord."
In the poem The Collar by George Herbert, the collar refers to the white band worn by a priest. It serves to represent a constraint or binding that is acting upon the priest as if their duty is just to serve others. Highlighted in turquoise, we see that the poem opens up by the priest voicing his frustrations and explaining how he struck the board and cried. Then in yellow, we see that the priest says, "No more," showing that he is fed up and done with his position and how his life has been going lately. He then uses questions. This shows that he is questioning his faith in his profession as a priest. He is then contemplating whether or not he should still be a priest. Then highlighted in green, the priest says, "Have I no harvest but a thorn?" This shows that he feels that the only thing that he is gaining from this is pain. Then highlighted in red, he says, "Sure there was wine," meaning sure there were good times and pleasure, but those times are now gone. Highlighted in teal, we see that the priest talks about fruit. He uses fruit as a symbol for fulfillment of life that he feels he has not yet attained. Highlighted in dark blue, we see that the priest is questioning if it's only him who feels this crisis or if it's others too. In green, he talks about how there are no flowers or no garlands. This acts as a metaphor for his life. He asks if they've been all blasted or wasted, just like he wants to know if his life has been wasted. In yellow, he refers to a cage and a rope. This represents the constraints that being a priest has put on his life. In turquoise, he says good cable to enforce and draw. This could be an allusion to the Bible and the teachings of Christianity, which he believes to be reasonable and good to follow. In the lines highlighted in yellow, the narrative voice seems to change. Up until this point, he is voicing his frustrations and he seems angry, but in this line, he decides to dispel his fears and put his faith in God. He decides to serve God and remain in his suit. In the last two lines highlighted in pink at the end, he hears God calling to him and he becomes at peace with what his life has come to.
So for a soapstone analysis of this poem, we said the speaker is a frustrated priest who is not content with his life of servitude. He is sort of selfish and feels like he's wasted his time in the priesthood. The voice is that of an annoyed priest who is questioning his profession and life choices. He has an introspective point of view in which he evaluates how he has spent his life. The occasion is that this poem seems to be from a long time ago, probably about the 15 or 1600s. His criticism of life in the priesthood could go hand in hand with the Protestant Reformation and the growing skepticism of the church and its offices during this time. The context is a priest who is frustrated with his life and profession. The audience he seems to be ranting to God as he is so annoyed with his position that he wants answers as to why his life has turned out the way it is. The speaker does not specify an audience, yet he rants, questioning about his situation and why his life is the way it is. He assumes that God exists and something or someone has influence over his life. We said that the purpose was to tell how even holy men who appear to have their lives together while remaining strong in their faith have their own struggles with their God and their lives. The message is that even when your faith wavers, God is always there and always believes in you through your trials. The ideas included in the text are those of frustration by a man towards his life and his career. The subject is a priest's frustration. The author presents the subject by ranting in frustration about how he feels as if he's wasted his life. He introduces this lack of content immediately. The tone, we said, was that the attitude of the author is of a man who is furious. He believes he wants to change his life as he has wasted many years in his profession. Over the course of the poem, however, he becomes more calm and grateful for his life as he believes God is hearing him and speaking to him. The author is very emotional. Quotes such as, "To let me blood and not restore," and "before my tears and drown it," show the author's feelings about the topic. He uses abnormal syntax and vivid imagery of depressing scenes to convey his emotions. If I were the author, I'd read it very emphatically and with great emotion.